Welcome to this week's episode of Sailor Barry and Haley. Sorry about the delay in episodes, I was busy getting all of this done. If you remember in the last episode I put out, we were just getting ready to start laying covering boards and make the final cuts on them. And as you saw, I just did that. It begins, time to fasten stuff down. Definitely stay tuned in this episode. We have an incredible gift that comes our way with an incredible turn of events that's still blowing my mind. It's one of the most amazing things that we could possibly have been given, and it's going to be a beautiful accompaniment to this new deck that we have on the boat. With the covering boards dry fit, it's almost time to route the edges that are revealed underneath the bulwark scuppers up against the rubbing strake. This is both aesthetic and functional. It gives a nice round over so that the water can shed off of the boat easier, and it just looks better when you're looking at the boat from a dock. Now that it's fastened, I took my least good piece of wood and I'm going to try edge setting one just as a test to see if I can even do swept decks or not. Fortunately or unfortunately, this did in fact work out, even though it took me 3 or 4 different tries to figure out which direction I should clamp things, but eventually I got there. As you can see right here, I clamped from the outside and it worked out good. Well, it works. The edge set. So my next move is to figure out my nib shape at the end and cut it out of the king plank there and start laying them on. The reason I say it was unfortunate that this worked is because it's literally about 10 times the effort to do a swept deck than it is to do a straight laid deck. But I've always wanted to do this, and the end result, as you'll see at the end of the episode, is pretty dang good. I'm very, very satisfied with it. And what you just saw me doing here is putting a corking bevel on, and I had to do this to every single plank. I've got all the tar laid down on deck, and now I'm painting the bottom side of the plank with it to prevent rot in the future. And now I'm just rinsing and repeating the process, clamping it down, locking it in place with a bunch of wedges, and then drive fasteners. And then move right onto the next plank, beveling it, cutting it to length, and cutting in the nib ends, doing a test fit, and then once the test fit is done, tracing out where the nib end lands, chiseling that out of the king plank, and then fastening it down with bedding compound. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Once I know how long the plank is supposed to be, I use a template that I made that makes all of my nib ends completely uniform. And then once that's cut off, I use the Japanese rasp to true up the surface that I hand sawed. And then also on these short little pieces at the nib end, I used the rasp as well to put in the corking bevel. And here you'll see I'm just chiseling out the king plank. Okay, so I'm doing something a little experimental. I've experimented with it last year, but I'm gonna continue experimenting with it. It's the mixture of pine tar and epoxy. So this time around, for instead of doing 50-50 or 75% epoxy, I'm doing like an ounce for every 2 cups. And all it does is help it solidify a tiny bit. It makes it more like roofing pitch than molasses. And it also just gives me confidence that long term this will slowly harden up, probably over the course of months or even years. And Yeah, so my process is I paint the decks where the plank is going, but only that zone. And then I paint the bottom of the plank. That way if water gets in between, the tar is likely to soak into any fastener holes before the water does, as well as it will preserve the bottom of the wood so that it won't rot from the bottom up. And this here is my pine tar and epoxy mix. It's crazy looking back at this. Every single plank took so much work and so much thought to get in place. But I'm also now very, very satisfied with the end result, and also very confident in its longevity, and the process that I took to do this feels like the right process to me. Part of me wishes it was a straight laid deck so it went a little faster, but this is beautiful. And as it turns out on this day, John and Vivian, the previous owners of Thunderchild, are driving to Gabriola to deliver something very, very, very special to us.
I was so worried that you guys weren't going to come here when I was
Good to see you. I'm covered.
You brought my mother.
Yeah, sweet.
Oh, you are. Holy shit.
Smells amazing, right? Hey, how you doing? I'm covered in pine tar, but
Excellent.
yeah,
That's perfect. I was wondering how you're
brought my
bedding the decking. And I'm thinking fiber gum.
Oh, it's so lovely to see you.
You're a good play day.
I had
You know,
a
it's
bunch
play
of debates about how to bed it, and I was like, Sikaflex was one option, epoxy was another option. That was my initial reaction, but then I just don't have enough epoxy. But for every half liter of pine tar I'm using, I'm putting one pump of epoxy resin and hardener, and it's just slowly.
Yeah, via the amateur.
Well, I
Radio
think I've done the
Association,
50-50 and it takes like 6 months for it to harden up.
Yeah, it's just
This is like a
participation.
90% pine tar, 20% or 10% epoxy, so I think it's going to be like 3 years before it truly hardens, and I like that. It just lets it settle in, seep in, and then kick. Yeah.
I was on official business today, so I had
She
to
was
look.
helping with the bathtub.
Yeah, it was amateur radio check-in point.
Oh, I'm glad you got it nicely wrapped. We were cautious. We were wanting to do the same.
So we were relaying the boats that pass by the checkpoint around Entrance Island over there.
Okay.
So
cool.
yeah, pretty fun. Oh, amazing.
I'm glad. Yeah, it's much thinner than the last one. I'm glad. Kaylee, you got the door? Probably
I don't
the.
think we've even been in the workshop.
Oh, you should go for it.
We've not.
The couch is fine for now.
This door skin was
That's the template
that's
for
the template
Roger.
between the upper and lower
Yeah.
moldings. So they're
Okay.
gone. I mean, you're going to do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm glad there's spare material.
There's a bit extra all around, except up here. Yeah, you can see the edge of the. This was where the bottom of the molding sat. And
Roger.
I
Yeah.
was just gonna paste it right on. What was
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do effectively also.
Yeah.
So additionally, if I need more space up top, once this gets taken off, I can do an epoxy laminate up top and extend the
do
top
that.
if I do
Yeah.
need more material.
Cool. Yes.
I noticed the portholes are different sizes,
Yeah.
but that's factored into the design.
It is, but you can do what you want with that.
Brilliant.
Obviously, because you have to
Yeah.
make your own. Oh, and on the back.
I might
side-
actually get an Indigenous person to come and cut those out.
Oh, cool. Yes.
Wow, that is actually such a beautiful piece of wood too.
One piece of wood.
Remarkable.
So these were glued on to hang it up
Yep.
on in the shop.
Brilliant.
And I took a chisel. I took a chisel and just to see if I could pop them off, and didn't work. And I only tried it.
It's a me
once.
problem. I have tools to get under there.
You've got a little Japanese hand. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
Wow. Genuinely, I'm honored that you felt inspired to give this to us.
great.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, yeah, you're the right guy for that boat.
I appreciate that so much.
There's
You were the
no-
right guy for the boat because it's in good shape.
And some of the stories, you may suffer through my stories because they do go back a ways. There's a lot of that boat that Andy wouldn't recognize.
Yeah, he was when he came over. He was like,
Did he come here?
we went to him
Right.
when we were in Salt Spring, and he, yeah, I mean, you clearly had your way with the interior. Almost all of that, he was like, because apparently it was, as it is on starboard, it was on port side also.
Yeah.
But then you made that dinette area
And the fore peak.
was smaller
Yeah, it was great for
stowage.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really, and the head was too big. Not quite big enough to sleep in, but it was too down.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's just the perfect size for Haley and I.
whatever I say, you're gonna, figure it out. I know.
Yeah,
that.
I've got. I mean, I have hundreds of options right now, so I'm curious what your take is because I haven't made any decisions because there's hundreds of decisions that I could make about this. So, like you, I'm going to just plaster this over top of the old one, which
Yeah.
has been now fiberglassed over and painted.
Right. Perfect.
So it's preserved. Like that's now that the old mural is now a structural part of the boat, and that's all. So it still lives on. It's still being honored. It's still a part of the boat.
Did Andy ever have any insight into who it was? 'Cause
He
it doesn't-
kind of breezed over it. He didn't. He like the only thing he mentioned was that he had a priest come and bless the boat on launch day. So those photos you see of the mural
Yeah.
with that guy dressed in all black,
Oh no, I
that's
haven't
the
seen
priest.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything more for this guy. Yeah, the blocks. You're gonna pop them off or whatever.
I'm excited.
Hmm.
This is, I mean, even Total Boat, all of the other people I've talked to about it, they're like beyond thrilled. They just want to make sure that we land on the ideal solution for preserving this. They're a plastics company, so they're comfortable with suggesting epoxy, but I think oil,
Yeah.
and they do have oil-based products that I think I would
Really?
use. Yeah.
Well, when if we peel this off so you can see it again, you may or may not. I mean, that's the thing.
I want it on the boat.
Mm.
Well, is that what you would want for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Same.
Yeah, but it's your boat and it's your carving.
So
And
for
so
me,
if you reject a carving,
what I think is really cool about this is, so I just did a little interview with Total Boat, and they were like, how does having a boat with so many interesting stories, like all the Dead Man's Island, you owning it for 49 years, and us all being friends, like just the idea of having that connectivity, and then also, because this is Indigenous, Coast Salish, and all of that, I don't really have family roots. So what I found has been interesting about this in particular is that it's actually an avenue for me to get closer with my sisters who are Indigenous.
are they really?
Yeah, they run the band office up in Bella Bella.
And I have.
So it's actually been really nice for me to like, it's actually really important. This has become like really
Cool.
kind of a cool turning point for me in my life. So the kicker was I didn't know I had sisters until my father passed.
Which is when?
When I was 30, so
Okay,
11
10
years ago.
yeah.
And so I just got this message from this couple of girls with my same last name, and they were like, "Hey,
Hey,
we're
bro."
yours." Yeah, exactly. And I was like, it was really cool. It was like a real like up and down moment, right? But this to me is an opportunity for me to connect with some sense of roots that I don't have in my life. So I think that's really, really, really exciting. So to me, this is actually a profound thing, and I think it belongs on the boat. I think Richard believed it belonged on the boat as well.
Yeah, Richard was cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, he said, when I brought a photo. You've got your own photo of what the frontis painting was. and I'll have one, which if you need it or want it.
Yeah, I sent a photo of the original when it was nice and like still in good repair, and my sister looked at it. She goes,
Yeah.
she's like, I don't know, man. It's kind of Haida, kind of Coast Salish, and that doesn't happen. They were not friendly. So like it was kind of an abortion of
Richard
a mishmash.
said the same thing. Like, oh, that's why he changed it somewhat.
Good. I think that's exactly what should happen.
So he did it to make himself happy with the...
Okay, I think this is a great time to press pause on this section of the video and do a little explanation as to who Richard Krentz is. Richard Krentz is the guy who made this new carving for Thunderchild. I believe he did it in 2009, before he passed away in 2014. Richard Krentz had a friendship with John and Vivian and Thunderchild, and he wanted to re-envision this carving as a proper, wholeheartedly Coast Salish carving. So that's exactly what he did. And John and Vivian intended to install it on the boat, but ended up selling it before they were able to, and now that falls on me to do. So, here's a little bit more about Richard Krentz.
Yeah, I started out with my art career, and I built the first small little longhouse, and I realized how well it worked to sell my artwork. And so I really talked to my elders and asked them about the longhouse and how they should be built, and something that was similar and to our traditional longhouses. And I started to build them, and people really liked them, and so I started to sell them. And I've built 27 of them to date, and the biggest one was for my band in Seashell, which was 75 feet long. We also call it the paddle maple because we made all of our paddles from it. It's a really strong, brittle wood. So you take maple and you burn it in the fire and then scrape off the charcoal. You have a very hard point, and you can, they used it to kill small animals or defend themselves. There's also a specific fern, a licorice fern, that grows only on maple trees, and we ate it as children. It's almost like a candy, and it's very tasty, tastes just like licorice. Also beautiful moss on the maple trees. This here is the willow. Its bark and its leaves have the salicylic acid, which is the natural aspirin.
So, as I sit here editing this video together and researching Richard Krentz's life, I have to say something really remarkable just struck me. At this exact moment, Haley and I are at anchor in front of Nelson Island, and very soon we're going to pick up anchor and head to Sultry Bay. The crazy part is, Richard Krentz was born on Nelson Island, and the place he moved next was Sultry Bay. The sacrosanct nature of this is not lost on either of us.
Hope nobody was having a crap in there. Watch your mirror there. Yeah. Don't put that on me. No, there's something about disaster I love. We got Ralph here. He's a chainsaw champion. He's just itching to cut something down.
Is this fun?
Well, it's the best fun I can have other than having sex. Once we get all that white man tent out of the way there, be a beautiful shot. So I think it really leaves a beautiful message that we should always accept transformation in our life, that we shouldn't fight it, that we need to accept getting old, accept getting a little too heavy, or accept all these things and just be happy and enjoy this beautiful world.
What a wonderful sentiment from a talented, wonderful man. Being at anchor here right now definitely feels like the winds of fate and Thunderchild took us here. But now for the big reveal. Something I've wanted to show you guys for a very long time. a true Coast Salish reimagining of the carving that was aboard Thunderchild since the day she launched. What an amazing opportunity for us to grow closer to Thunderchild, for me to grow closer to my roots. Hey, so this is cutting ahead a bit in reality. For a very brief explanation, the only reason we're here is because we had a brief mechanical failure. At first, it kind of felt like a bit of a bummer and a setback, but now learning what we've learned about Richard and where he's from, it's not lost on us that it feels like Thunderchild brought us here. And it feels certainly meant to be in a very special way. He was born right here.
Right here?
Nelson Island right there. It's, yeah, crazy. You guys will get to understand why we're here and what's going on, but this is us real time in the moment. And yeah, I just had to throw this in. It's
really beautiful here.
It is beautiful here. And soon we depart for following in Richard's footsteps straight to Sultry Bay. So yeah, thanks for tuning in and watching this segment about Richard. Pretty profound, pretty interesting. I'm sure none of this is lost on you guys as well. So yeah, I'm very excited to put that on the boat, and it's coming in the future. So stay tuned for all of that. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of the episode. And thank you to John and Vivian and Richard for all the hard work to make sure that we have something beautiful for the front of Thunderchild. All right.
It's starting to rain, let's go.
Back to it. Pretty amazing that a random mechanical failure brought us to anchor at the place where Richard was from on the day that I edit this video to finally show everyone Richard's beautiful works. Still kind of blowing my mind. But anyway, back to the deck work. One plank at a time, we're making progress. We managed to be able to do anywhere from 4 to 9 planks in a single day, and at a certain point, it got pretty tricky to clamp the planks down, and it required a lot of assistance from Haley. So we would eventually work out a system where I would clamp and she would weigh them down standing on the end so that they wouldn't clip out of there and create a big disaster. But we eventually got a good process down and things worked out really well. After removing the protective cardboard and giving it a quick sweep, we both got to finally walk around on the deck and enjoy all of our hard work. From rough cut pieces of yellow cedar and sapele to this. I'm very proud of the results. Okay, so with the deck done on starboard side, I have two choices. I'm pretty burned out from doing that one side, so I wouldn't mind taking a little break from super physical stuff. So what I think I'll do now is cut plugs and start plugging. I did replace my bit eventually. I had another one that was in far better shape, but what a joke. A break from the physical stuff? At least I'm not out in the beating sun. At least I'm inside. Only 120 to cut per side. Here we go. Maybe it's time I invest in a drill press? I bedded each one of these down with Total Boat Gleam, and if you're interested in purchasing some, there is an affiliate link in the bio, and we get a little kickback from it and you get a little discount. So if you're considering buying some, hit it up. Plugged and sanded, now it's time to start the caulking process. On starboard side, I started with cotton, and in some seams, if they were a little bit more open than others, I would also put in a thread of oakum. But eventually I found, because some of the pine tar would weep through, that it became pretty tricky to work with the cotton. So on the other side of the boat, I used exclusively oakum because it's so oily that it helps shed any pine tar that would leak through and stop me from making a horrible mess of my caulking irons and the oakum itself. With starboard fully caulked, it's time to move on to port side, but I can't believe it took me a whole 2 weeks or 3 weeks to even set up a sunshade. But covering boards are now wrapped up on that side, so time to start planking. Rinse and repeat, one by one by one. Eventually I'll be done. Eventually I'll be done. That's what I keep telling myself. Thanks so much for watching.
We should always accept transformation in our life, that we shouldn't fight it, that we need to accept getting old, accept getting a little too heavy, or accept all these things and just be happy and enjoy this beautiful world.